Hello. Today we're talking about my presentation. It's called Dirty Money for a Charity. A salesman uses his skills to help a pet charity, but at what the cost? By Daniel Anthony Piat. That is me, and this is an illustration of my pet wiener dog named Callie that I co-own with my fiance. Who are we talking about today? We're talking about Bob. He is a retired salesman, also our protagonist or antagonist, depending on how the judgment or ethical questions happen today. Um, he has a reputation to be able to sell anything with more time than usual. Because of his retirement, Bob is very interested in local charities, particularly one that helps pay for the surgeries for wiener dogs that come from poor families that can't afford them. Bob has a certain affinity for wiener dogs. He grew up with them, so this is a great charity for him. He decides to unretire from selling and gets back into the game to make a difference in these wiener dogs' lives. It's a very noble and just reason, some would say. But why are we talking about Bob? Well, Bob is now hitting the online marketplaces, selling counterfeit products to unknowing individuals. The key word is unknowing individuals. He is able to find fake Costa sunglasses and fake Coach purses for pennies on the dark web, which he turns around and sells on legitimate sites. Truthfully, no one can tell the difference between the real products and the fake ones. He donates all his profits and is able to save a dozen wiener dogs from an unfulfilled needed surgery, quite literally saving their lives in only his first week of selling. And if that wasn't enough, on top of that, Bob decided to give a percentage of these profits to a charity that would help supply the drugs that the wiener dogs needed post-surgery. So this is like a double whammy of good karma if selling sunglasses doesn't bother you, but we can get into that in the next slide. The standards. For this presentation, I have decided to use the ACM Code of Ethics, specifically the ones listed below. 1.1 Contribute to society and to human well-being, acknowledging that all people are stakeholders in computing. Computing professionals should consider whether these results of their efforts will respect diversity. We will be used in social responsible ways, will meet social needs, and will be broadly accessible. They are encouraged to actively contribute to society by engaging in pro bono or volunteer work that benefits the public good. Sounds a lot like Bob. 1.3 Be honest and trustworthy. Honesty is an essential component of trustworthiness. A computing professional should be transparent and provide full disclosure of all pertinent system capabilities, limitations, and potential problems to the appropriate parties. Making deliberately false or misleading claims, fabricating or falsifying data, offering or accepting bribes, and other dishonest conducts are violations of that code. Now, Bob might have a bit of a trouble with that one. Now, to test. What are Bob's choices? Bob can continue to sell the fake products to the unknowing customers to continue helping these charities. Bob could start trying to make a profit in a more legitimate way, possibly making his own purses and selling them, or buying and selling real products at a smaller margin, possibly limiting his ability to help the company or charity that he wishes to help in a more substantial way. Or Bob could just stop trying to help altogether. As some would say, if you can't help, don't hurt. And I guess this is Bob. Looking back, he's questioning whether he wants to continue, but he does. and we're going to talk about the ethics involved. Ethically, I would say this is ethical. The wiener dogs need surgery. Wiener dogs love life. They love to be alive. I have one. They're very happy dogs, and if it wasn't for Bob, otherwise they would not have been able to have this life-saving surgery. The dogs have a social need to be able to live a long life. That would not be possible otherwise, and also the families of the dog um, benefit immensely from having a furry friend in their house, and this would fall under the ACM 1.1. The salesman's actions are ethical considering that. Bam. Another ethical action you could say is more post-surgery drugs. So the charity was having a tough time sourcing and paying for the post-surgery drugs, and these drugs are used to prevent infection and to keep the wiener dogs comfortable. Bob decided to give some of the money to support these organizations that are supplementary to other charities. So under Rule ACM 1.1, the access to these drugs are needed, therefore a social good. Bob's actions here are ethical. But, as one would argue, unethical action could be to make false claims about the product. Bob is selling counterfeit sunglasses and purses on the dark web, and or he's buying them on the dark web and selling them on legitimate sites and getting away with it. And this is a violation of the rule ACM 1.3 because he is making deliberately false claims or misleading claims. So Bob is unethical for this action, although the customers are unaware that they even bought the counterfeit because they are indistinguishable. And I'm sure they wouldn't be too upset if they knew that them getting a non-legitimate product was quite literally saving these wiener dogs' lives. But that's for the individual to know. In conclusion, personally, I find that Bob's use of his sales skills to help the dogs and the owners to be balanced ethically. Although I'm sure not everyone shares my affinity towards wiener dogs. So I can see the argument being made that the fake glasses and the purses are too big of a scam to justify this for some people, though who could object to having the same level of quality in their product and to be able to save a few dozens of dogs a week. But yes, let me know what your opinion is, and thank you for listening, and have a wonderful week. Goodbye.